2014.
Okay.
January.
Yep.
I'll paint a little picture. Arsenal,
Please
after
do.
21 games played, 2014, we're first, right?
Yes.
City second, and we're competing, heavily competing. We get injuries to Diaby, I think Cazorla. It was to our midfield, maybe possibly Ramsey.
I think I know.
On deadline day, we signed Kim Kallstrom on loan.
The man with the broken back.
And in his medical, it's clear and evident to everyone that he has a broken vertebrae in his back, like he is out. And like they needed coverage right then and there. That's my thing.
Is awful.
That's the worst. For me, that's just...
And that's
no NPL team would do that.
No
semi-professional club would sign someone with a broken back and
back.
like when you need quick replacements.
I pay attention to that.
Click.
Ain't nobody fresher than my clip.
Was that song I was singing before the Neymar documentary song or the Brazil one?
Oh. Oh, Maria.
That's the Neymar one.
My job is to make college easier because students have a lot of fun.
There's no order anymore. MJ's gone.
Yeah, it's better than that.
Our parents have left.
Yeah.
There's no more order, baby.
Now we can finally have fun on this podcast.
Think I care about this show because I know I'll run us into the ground. Hey, I'll run us into the ground. Oh wow, okay.
Jesus Christ.
This is family friendly.
This is going to be so weird, so bear with me. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Back with another episode of Let 'Em Shoot TV. Thanks for tuning in.
Where's Jeremy?
To all our loyal customers, subscribers, patrons, fans,
You got them?
friends. I'll be your mediator today as Mike has gone back to Nigeria. He read some of your comments on TikTok and he's decided to not show up. So I'm back, Juju J, back again for another shift. To my left, we have...
Guys, best on TikTok, best on ground, Pengas Techers. Welcome back to my show. Guys, how was everyone?
From left, we go to the right.
It's your boy, young entrepreneur, aka Jeff, aka Elon, aka Clamp God. Elon. But you're on with the B. Entrepreneur is my game. This show's my main hobby. And to my right,
Hello, everyone. I'm back again. I'm here to take a little bit of the heat off of the rest of these three.
Mike.
We've kicked MJ off the podcast, so we're going to see how I go
thank
on a
God.
trial basis. So
Yeah.
nice in the comments, please.
I think MJ, Mike, as you know him, he faced a lot of backlash after his comments last week.
Yeah. For some that don't know him, he's the guy in the Brazil shirt.
He's the guy in the Brazil shirt.
Mike. They'll know
Some
him
of the
as
comments included MJ terrible, black guy in shirt next, worst shocking.
That was you.
That was you, mate.
That was you, bub.
Yeah, at least I wasn't last.
Brazil shirt just grenaded all his credibility. What is Brazil shirt guy smoking? Ute in the Brazilian shirt doesn't watch football. Ain't a single soul going to listen to what Mike has to say about football. That's
I like
first
that
name
one.
basis. First name basis. We've also got tell Mike to go watch another sport because the man is clueless. Mike should never be not spoken to about football. Should never be spoken to again.
Whoa. They want us to just block it.
Yeah.
Do you guys know, right? I was looking through Mike's phone and like his what's his name? TikTok was open. 75 plus messages.
Oh shit.
And I know they ain't love messages. So.
Shit. And the last one, remember guys, handicap doesn't always mean in a wheelchair. It can be a dumbass in Brazilian jersey.
Oh my God.
So Mike, Jesus, really, yeah.
At least you guys like me. So.
We had to give him a rest today. We brought on Tom. Get a bit more diversity in the podcast.
Yeah.
And perfect for today's episode because we will be doing the top 10 worst transfers in Premier League history. It can mean a number of things. It can mean it was a terrible signing for the club. It could mean the club that sold the player made a terrible move in selling him, made a poor decision that eventually came back to hurt them. We'll be going from 10 to 1, just rattling off a few stories. We'll make this quite cinematic for you. But before we do that, you got to do a couple things.
What are we going to do? You can tell us.
Number 1, like.
There we go.
2, subscribe.
Yep,
Yeah,
I like that.
That's a big one as
If
well.
it's red, you need to subscribe. If it's
Great.
grey, it's clicked in. You've done that. Number 2. Number 3, share with your homies and your homie S's.
Jehovah's.
Yeah. I know you watched our Valentine's Day special.
Yep.
Back it up. What's this one? 4,
This is the
ring that notification bell. Right next to, see, if you click the subscribe one, right next to it, maybe 2 centimeters that way, there's a notification one. Put that on, and then you'll know whenever we post.
That's absolutely correct.
And 5, have some fun. Watch this pod. Enjoy your favorite snacks.
Yeah.
That's it. Just get comfy, baby.
I like
this,
that.
This is going to be a very
I like
fun
that.
one.
Okay.
Perfect. Let's kick this off with everyone's number 10. Maybe we'll give it to Tom as he's back in the hot seat.
All right.
After 4
Come
months.
on, Whitey.
I wrote done a little story for each of mine. So I've got a little bit of reasoning. This one is one which 2 of you might.
Yeah.
You probably never
I'm here.
watched him play properly
Okay.
because you're a little bit young. You guys born in the 2000s definitely have not seen this guy play. Number 10 is El Hadji Diouf
Oh, no. Yes, I remember.
for Liverpool.
Mm.
So pretty much what happened is the 2002 World Cup happened and Senegal were proper. They were sick. Liverpool, off the back of that, they signed him for £10 million. Now, what happened was
Let's hear it.
Anelka was playing for Liverpool and he was good and he had scored, a goal every 2 games, I think it was. And instead of re-signing him, a player who was already at the club, a massive prospect, a player who could tell who was good, off the back of
He
the
came from
2002.
Madrid, right? Anelka?
Oh, who knows?
Or PSG
I think
or
so.
Madrid. Yep.
It's hard to keep up with him. They decided to sign El Hadji Diouf. Anelka went to City and he played about 110 games and scored about 60 goals.
Yep.
So,
And tell
A
us
little,
how. Tell us how Juf went.
so Diouf is someone who Steven Gerrard has publicly criticised.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
wrote
wow.
about him in his autobiography as a player as the one player he wished Liverpool never signed.
Yeah.
And Carragher has spent airtime on a television show which airs worldwide
Yep.
to tell him that it was Liverpool's biggest transfer mistake.
Yep. And Carragher also called him his worst ever teammate.
Oh,
Wow.
And he's a dickhead.
Yeah.
So not only was he a bad signing, not only did he score, hang on, I've got the stat here. 6 goals in 79 games for Liverpool. 6 in 79 after turning away Anelka 60 and 110.
In 03-04, Diouf went an entire season without scoring across 33 appearances in all competitions.
Surely after 12 of those matches, you don't put him on. Not even as a sub.
Especially
He then went on to join Bolton on the following year, and I think he scored more than
He
did
would have.
for
6 in 79 is...
He's the only 9 to ever go through a whole season without scoring.
Oh my God.
In fact, he's probably the only 9 of any club to ever do that, said Carragher.
Oh,
So yeah, that's 10.
That's crazy. That's a 6 story.
that's good.
I think anyone that dyes their beard, you just can't trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Why are you
something wrong.
dyeing your beard for
Yeah.
blonde? Doesn't really make sense, does it?
I mean, what can you do? Great for Senegal, though.
Excellent in the 2002 World Cup.
Yeah.
I'll go my number 10, which is, I've tried to mix these up. So not necessarily the worst, but the ones that made no sense. And I sort of despise the players. So I've gone Jordan Ibe to Bournemouth for
Hey, man.
a fee of almost 20 million.
Yep.
He proved absolutely nothing at Liverpool and got a $20 million deal to Bournemouth, who were relegation battlers at the time. This guy only got the move based on
Don't you have a Jordan Ibe
mixed
jersey?
race and light skin ability. He played 86 games for Bournemouth, who were struggling. So struggling. They're always battling.
Yeah.
He scored 4 goals in that time. So 4, for me, that says, you're a young player who's going to prove themselves, similar to Ryan Brewster.
Yeah.
And you've done absolutely nothing in your big shot of success. He was like the guy that they signed. He was like, yep.
And his transfer fee was like at the time where 20 million's like okay for a player. It was before that.
It was before
It was
that.
just before. It was on the cusp of that.
This is 20 mil to Bournemouth. This, I'm just guessing, but he was probably their
He was their record signing. I
record
think.
signing. Yeah.
Wow.
I think so.
And absolutely bottled. I think he now plays Reading.
He does. I don't think he plays. He
He
had a
does.
couple years off with mental health issues and stuff
There
like
you go.
that.
I think he's back now.
I think he's
I
coming
saw
back
something.
slowly.
Yeah, I saw him post a video. Come back.
Yeah.
Come
Also,
back season.
Samuel once said, "Doesn't matter that Sterling left.
Yeah.
We've got Jordan Ibe."
You've
You've said that before.
I remember that.
Yeah.
actually.
And Samuel has a Jordan Ibe jersey. He has played 1 game for Derby this year.
Oh, good.
Hey, he's been battling a lot
that-
of mental
Yeah,
health,
he has.
so you
Is
guys
that
just
Rooney-
back off, all
Rooney's
right?
team?
We're happy to see him back
Yeah,
now.
back the hell
But
off.
at that time that he moved from Liverpool to Bournemouth,
Yeah.
awful transfer.
It's that light skin. That was our light skin years.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
Started
He
doing
got
this
that
shit.
signing fully based on being
Light
light,
skin.
skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a box cut.
Yeah. He was quite good looking, attractive.
Perm.
That's how he got that $20 million.
He had that perm as well.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Gelled. Maybe used the whole tub before a game.
But who's your number 10?
My number 10 is someone who still plays. I think he still plays, or maybe he's coming back now. He goes by the name of Andy Carroll.
Jesus, this is low.
This is low for me.
This is extremely low.
Oh, but
He's also in my
the rest is very interesting. So this guy was at Newcastle, netted 11 in 19, $35 million later, 35 million
Pounds.
pound
36.9.
later. He goes for a massive streak of 6 goals in 44 games for Liverpool.
Yeah.
And the guy they signed for like 11 mil.
Is a man by the name of Luis Suarez.
Same transfer window, same time.
I signed him for 22.
All
22.
the photos of Suarez transfer.
Suarez
Carroll-
one side,
Andy
Carroll
Carroll's
the-
in the other.
They're both holding the
Yep.
the scarf
Yeah,
together.
together.
That's English tax for you guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a terrible signing.
I hate Andy Carroll with all my heart. I hate him so much. Like, he's one player I hate. I just despise. So I have him a lot higher on my
have
list
him a lot
because
higher
he
as well.
burns. It burns to know that we broke our record signing fee on
Yeah.
Andy Carroll. That's Liverpool's record signing.
And he's
Obviously
not
not
even.
anymore, but
Not anymore.
Yeah.
that was their record signing. That's when 36 mil you could buy
Get you-
top class
Buy
players.
anyone you wanted,
Yeah.
pretty much.
But they thought this English guy,
Yeah.
ponytail.
Kenny Dalglish, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Off a
bloody-
year and a half, he'd been at Newcastle in the top flight,
Yeah.
That's not enough.
and he only played what should have.
He got sent out on loan the next year, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah. He played
Yeah.
44 games for Liverpool.
And then got
Yeah, but
sold
in a
for
year and a
half
half, he played 19 games for Newcastle.
Oh, yeah.
Like that should be a bit of
Enough.
a red flag
Exactly.
You
straight
can't, go,
away.
you can't score 6 goals. You play 9, 6 goals in 44
deadline day
games.
as well.
Yeah,
That's panic boy attack.
All right, guys. My number
That's a
10
panic.
is someone. All right. I remember being so excited thinking we were about to sign him. Thinking Liverpool are about to sign this man. It was January. I remember I said, let's go out. Let's just buy him because we need a striker. We don't have the players. And you said before there's been a striker who played whole season without scoring. Juff would be the only one. But he's not. Saido Berahino
oh yeah.
signed for 12.5 million. West Brom signed him, so it was important for them. They needed him. He went, you want me to tell you guys?
Tell us.
He went 28 matches, 1,214 minutes without scoring.
And the crazy thing about that is at the exact time that this happened, young Jeremy used to watch every English FA training video of the youth squad, every single one, and them doing finishing, and he was the best player in the whole team. Every video on YouTube of English FA training, on like every single one, they do finishing drills. He's scoring 6 out of 6, 7 out of 7, like every single drill. Couldn't translate to
At all.
one.
Where did he
Not
come from?
one single goal. I think.
Stoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stoke City.
He went.
To who?
No, he signed for Stoke from West Brom.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh,
at
right,
West
right.
Brom,
At West Brom.
I remember
Yeah,
I used
yeah.
to watch
He
his
was
West Brom
killing it at
highlights.
West Brom.
Yeah, I used to watch his West Brom highlights. I'm thinking, yes, we're about to sign him. I'm so happy. He chose Stoke.
Yeah, now we know.
And then lucky,
Now we know.
Lucky we didn't sign him because he went 28 matches without scoring.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was a bit of a problem, I think, around the
Yeah.
training ground.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
memory.
Little
I've
bad
heard.
boy, yeah.
From memory, he was caused a bit of disruption.
They said the only thing he did was get Stoke to the championship.
Oh.
Yeah.
Glenn Johnson,
Jeez.
yeah, said that was the person who said that he had a massive attitude
Yeah.
problem.
So those are number 10s.
Good start.
Yeah. All
That's a nice
horrible
start.
signings.
We've
So
all done
Awful.
tens.
yeah.
All 10.
All right, number 9. I've got
The order's difficult.
the order's difficult, so I'm just gonna do importance to me.
All right.
All right, so
Yeah, cool.
this one I think should be 1. It absolutely should be 1, but it's my 9 only because I never witnessed it and only read about it.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Ali Dyer to
Oh.
Southampton.
This is one
This
in
is one.
in
Is
every
it one in your
list.
list?
It's not. I
It's
don't
not.
have it in my list.
I
just
don't
'cause-
have it in my
Just because I don't care about it.
I don't even
I
know.
don't know
In
what
terms
it
of
is.
professional football, professional sport in general, and just
I
like
think I know this.
club management and people being people.
Absolutely.
this
So
is
it's
by
my
far the
9
worst.
because I didn't witness it ever. But from reading about it, it has to be 1. So basically, the manager at the time of Southampton was Graham Souness.
Yeah, I saw this.
Okay. So Graham Souness is always talking shit. A man called Southampton, basically ringing Graham Souness, pretending to be World Player of the Year, George Weah.
Pretending to be.
So he's pretending to be George Weah.
Yep.
The guy who's pretending to be him recommends his cousin Ali Dyer or Dyer Ali Dyer, I don't know
Dyer,
pronunciation, who is his cousin, who scored 2 goals for Senegal the week before the phone call,
Yep.
and had played with Weah at PSG before spending time in Germany, and he said he would be an exciting prospect.
Say it, speaking into the mic.
He'd be an exciting prospect, right? The player actually was a 31-year-old college student who occasionally dabbled in Sunday League football.
What the hell does that? What do they mean by dabbled?
Like he wasn't he wasn't NPL level. He wasn't a semi-professional footballer. He played football also
If you had spare time.
if he didn't have exams. So they signed him on a free,
Yeah.
only to realize that like it's completely fraudulent, this activity. So
So they signed him, and how many games did he play?
I think he played a handful of games.
He featured in games. How did he even
In
feature in a
games.
game?
How did they not pick it up in training?
The striker, basically reading the article, the striker who initially flattered to deceive in training was set to be given a run midweek against Arsenal, only for the game to be called off. So initially, he only missed out because the game was called off. And then Southampton were dealt an injury crisis, and Souness apparently had no choice but
Sure.
to bring him into the fold for their next Premier League game against Leeds.
It's a cover up.
youth players?
It's a cover up.
We were so short of strikers that the boy who trained with us on Thursday and Friday looked okay in small-sided games. We were decimated. We only had one fit striker. Ali Dyer couldn't believe his luck and featured in the game against Leeds in a Premier League top-flight game.
Oh
Matt
my!
Letizia was quoted saying he had never witnessed anything like it. He was a headless chicken He recalled, but the funny thing was he was running everywhere. The ball wasn't. I think he was trying to avoid it.
You know what this story sounds like?
That is easily the worst ever.
Signing ever.
Yeah, it has to be.
It sounds like, you know when you message like your celeb crush or something on Instagram, knowing you're not going to get a reply?
just thinking, yeah,
and then you getting a reply is like, oh shit, let me just keep going on with this.
My number 9, all mine are basically very recent because that's when
Mine
I
too,
watch
really.
and cared about football the most. A lot of it is just, I think, funny. So this guy has described his own career at this club as shambles.
Oh.
He described his own career as shambles. He's a player that if someone said how much would you pay for him, I would never ever say 35 mil, ever. He was signed for 35 mil. He won the Premier League previously, but he was never a player that you would have said, yeah, this is the guy.
Dirty Diana.
This guy, Danny, drink a bit of water. Danny, drink water. 35 million pounds to Chelsea Football Club at age 31.
He is very high in my list.
He's very high in mine as well. So
That is one of the worst
He's in my
signings
list as well, yeah.
ever.
Do you want a couple stats about
Yeah,
it?
go for it.
I was looking.
So pretty much he was like on the fringe of England and he was a starter for Leicester. Chelsea had sent out basically all of their English players on loan and needed to fill their quota. So they signed Danny Drinkwater at 31 years old to 100 grand a week.
They wanted Barkley in it.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
called
He made 12 appearances in his first season with Chelsea and then he made 1 appearance after that in the Community Shield.
oh god.
He's since been sent on loan to Burnley and Aston Villa, where he made 1 appearance with Burnley and 4 with Villa. Now, do you want to know what happened outside of football for him? He was charged with the drink driving. He got into a fight in a nightclub where he tore ligaments in his leg. And he got sent back to Chelsea after headbutting someone in training.
So you're
Last
telling
year
me
he played 3 games for Chelsea in the Premier League B League. Like,
oh,
Yeah, and he got sent off in one.
yeah.
but he's,
That is absolutely
and
astonishing.
he's collecting a bag. He's getting 100k.
That is
Still.
astonishing.
That's life.
And he's at Reading on loan.
And you just want to keep doing that shit.
How's that going?
No idea.
No one knows.
Far out.
Absolutely
And?
no idea.
My number 9 is someone who is also a Chelsea player. He had an amazing season with this club before. He had the likes of Kylian Mbappe in his squad. Mendy.
This guy's in my list as well.
Yeah, this is...
Who else? Bernardo Silva.
They went on the
Fabinho.
Champions League
He
run.
went on that mad run. He was a mad player
Falcao.
to watch. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I saw them videos come to
the
Chelsea.
right back?
Welcome Chelsea.
Sidibe.
Yeah, I was like, all these videos, welcome to Chelsea, welcome to Chelsea. Bakayoko.
Timui Bakayoko. 40 million steal
Yeah.
they at the start. 40 million steal. This is the
That
guy.
Monaco team got raided.
Yeah,
Bad.
absolutely
Every single player.
Bad.
rated.
All their players are gone.
Every single
40
player.
million. This guy maybe played like 5 games for us.
He got loaned out halfway through the season to
Yeah.
AC Milan.
Yeah.
This
I'm
guy
pretty sure.
is living a life. He gets loaned out to all these fancy countries.
Yeah, he's
And he's still collecting a bag at Chelsea.
Although at the time it was a good signing.
It wasn't
At the time,
At the time,
Chelsea needed a player like that.
Yeah.
We did, didn't we?
And he also much suited the 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. And Conte came in and played 5, 2 midfielders,
yeah.
3 forwards up front, which really fucked up his career.
But
Doesn't matter.
He, honest,
40
40 million.
Because he played 29 games, 1 season for Chelsea.
He did nothing in all of them, I can tell you that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that is an awful signing.
Yeah.
You don't just get loaned out.
And he
After
just
40 mil.
Yeah.
he got his loan renewed. I don't even know if that was a thing. It's renewed now.
Played
He's at-
more games for Napoli and AC
Yeah.
than he did for Chelsea.
And I think he's at Napoli still.
I didn't even know he went to
He's
Napoli.
back at AC. He went on loan
Oh.
to Napoli.
So he's gone on loan.
He went on loan to Milan,
Signed there, didn't he?
went on loan to Monaco,
Again.
I think went on loan to Napoli, and now he's at Milan.
My 9 is a current player, a player who's trying a new position, a forced new position because he's been so awful in his current one. It is a player who has scored 7. I did his stats today. He scored 7 goals in 91 games. And in his first season in the Prem, he played all 38 games.
I know who this is.
Signed for 40 million. Signed for a club who is in a relegation battle every single year. Signed for a club who needs a proper 9 and a proper goal scorer to try and dig them out of whatever they're in at the moment. Jeremy's favourite career mode player, Joel Linton.
40 million.
40 mil for Newcastle.
91 games, 7 goals is the most fuck thing I've ever heard.
Especially, you cannot move this guy who plays when has a striker
He played 8.
when has a
2
striker
weeks
ever
ago.
been so bad that they said let's put him in centre mid? Never.
And for his teammates to be like, this guy's sick at training at 8. You know, they've been saying that.
Never has anyone ever said let's play our striker centre mid.
I've got Joel Linton on my list. He was a bit higher up, but that. Yeah.
And a little fun fact, whilst he's still at the club, they signed a new 9. They signed Callum Wilson and gave him number 9 that Joel Linton was wearing. They took his number off him and gave it to someone
You're
else.
instantly one of the worst ever signings if that happens to you.
They've also signed Chris Wood, since that time.
Yeah.
So 2 9s have come in.
2 9s have come in.
Fucking Dwight Gale.
Yeah.
They had an awful run of signings.
And like he's young but it doesn't look like he can turn it around.
At all.
Ever.
At all.
And not at centre mid.
No way.
What on earth? At centre mid?
7 in 91 is less than 1 goal every 10 games.
Yeah.
As a 9.
As a 9.
And he played every single game in his
Out
first
and
year.
out 9.
He did.
He's probably hit more posts than anyone I've ever seen. All right. Are we up to number 8
to
now?
number 8.
Smash it.
All right, mine. This one is not going to be too long. We're doing worst signings in Prem history. This guy, another Chelsea player, signed for £50 million, around £47 million. He plays striker. He's a little German. Timo Werner.
Oh, I didn't have him.
Timo Werner. And the only
it's
reason I
good.
had him this low,
Yeah.
I didn't have
the only reason I had him this low is because he can still get better. But what he has done in the last 2 years, 1.5 seasons, he is absolutely awful, abysmal. His overall play, awful. His technical ability, awful. His finishing, awful. He went through a stretch of how long it was, 6 months, where he scored less goals than Alisson. Timo Werner is by far one of the worst signings ever in Premier League history. Only because he's not that old. He's lower.
Defend him, bud.
You know what? I looked silly for those 6 months because I was defending this guy like prime Ramos. I was defending this guy like prime Ramos for no reason. Timo, I have no words for you anymore. Man. If you leave tomorrow, I wouldn't care. I literally said, like I said, I have no words, so I'm not gonna say.
Tom, give me your 8.
My 8 is a player that, Jeremy, you're very familiar with, the player that you love, player in a swap deal. Alexis Sanchez.
Good.
And the reason why it's so bad is because City wanted him and United said, no, we want him so bad, we will give you £500,000 a week if you sign for us.
Yep.
And then send him on loan the next year.
And also, at the end of the year, his contract was going to be up, I think. And he would have gone to City for free if he could choose.
Yeah.
So United obviously had to entice Arsenal with Mkhitaryan, who was very out of form.
Yes.
And I think we won the transfer deal. Like,
Easily.
I think we've won the deal. And we got rid of our best player.
Mkhitaryan's level
So when does that happen?
was better than Sanchez's level after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He scored 3 goals in over
Who
30
did Sanchez?
games. Sanchez scores 3 goals in over 30
You could see he
games.
was declining at Arsenal as
Didn't he
well.
come out and say, after the first training, I wanted to go back to the Emirates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's a quote.
That is
Who was the
awful.
manager at the time? Van Gaal?
Yep.
Louis, yeah.
Yeah.
That is absolutely awful.
And he was so bad at United that instead of like keeping him on, they paid out his contract to get rid of him.
That is.
Exactly.
They had to loan him because he's getting paid too much.
And they were paying £325,000 a week to have him on loan at Inter.
Yeah.
Imagine
It was that bad.
Yeah, exactly. He
This
was...
is bad business. How is this going?
I'm telling you, United and Chelsea could have their own lists.
This is bad. 500K a week.
Yeah.
That's
No,
100K
He
is a
went
lot.
to Mourinho as a coach.
Ah.
Yeah. He
I
said,
don't even
yeah.
know why Mourinho would want him.
It sounded tempting to me.
he was
I ended
good at
up
Arsenal.
signing without much information about what is happening in the move. The first days I was there with my colleagues. Sometimes there's things you don't realize until you arrive. After the first session, I realized many things. I came home and told my representative, can't the contract be terminated to return to Arsenal? They started laughing. And I told them that something did not sit right with me and I had already been signed. Yeah.
Surely you just get through it at that point. You're making £500,000 pounds.
you
a
just
week.
get through it.
If ever a player looked to be a shadow of themselves in such a short period of time, it was
in the transfer period.
It
He
was,
went
yeah.
from one of the best players in the league to one of the worst in the league.
because he was
making-
performing for Arsenal because he wanted to move.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't a situation where he was like, let me run out my contract. I'll sit on the bench. I won't. He wanted to move to a bigger club. So he said, let me like play for my life essentially.
And he impressed
he was good.
Guardiola. He impressed.
City really wanted him.
City wanted him.
And they were about to get him until United
They
said,
would have got him.
They were willing to get rid of Sterling so that they
Yeah.
could get him. And then
Because there were Sanchez Sterling rumor swap
Yeah,
deals.
swap
And I was
deals.
like, I'll take that 100%
yeah, of
because
course.
he wants
He wants out already.
and you look at the player Sterling's gone on to be since then, and then Sanchez.
Maybe it's a good
yeah.
thing. Maybe Sterling goes to his house a couple of days.
Yeah, it says thank you for not coming there. Yeah.
My number 8 is, I think this was at a period where things went completely left. This team had one of the sort of deal works in two ways. They sold their best player, which I think they had to for the money, and they possibly managed the worst rebuild of all time. And it was Tottenham under Andreas Villas-Boas
Yeah.
signing Roberto Soldado.
You can
and
put all
the
7
other 10
of those.
players, but he is my one I'm singling out because he scored 16 goals in 76 games for £26 million in 2013. 2013, people weren't just going for 26 mil. Like, you had
Yeah.
to be decent.
It could have been any
had
one
to
of
be
those
decent.
players. Paulinho, Capu, Lamella,
Any
all
of
these
them.
guys were in that.
Chadley,
Yep.
Sigurdsson.
Wasn't Dembele? He was part of that.
Dembele.
wasn't he? Yeah.
Was
I
it?
think
I think
so.
an Ericsson was
Yeah,
part
and
of it.
Ericsson.
as well.
Yeah.
So they
So
signed two.
They signed 2
Oh,
good.
all right, yeah.
And,
Two
and
of 7.
Lamella played. At
Lamella's
least.
played,
Lamella
but he
was
was
not
never
good.
good.
Yeah,
And he was
he-
never a regular starter.
Yeah, he played.
He scored 6 goals in his first season at Tottenham.
That's worse team.
and then didn't score again.
and then didn't score again.
That's worse rebuild.
No. He scored 16.
Oh.
But he's 6 goals in his first. So he scored 6 in 36 in his first season.
That is one of the
Jesus.
worst. It's
Also,
one of the worst.
he was an
rebuilds.
awful player for them. He didn't link up well.
No.
He didn't
Yeah.
contribute to the game. It wasn't a move where it was like, at least you can see hey, he's benefiting the team. He was
Yeah.
awful. And
That's
soon,
terrible,
I think he
son.
went back to
Yeah.
Spain on loan. Yeah.
Is that everyone's 8?
I think that's
Everyone's 8,
done.
yeah.
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 Number 7. All right.
Should I kick it off?
Yeah, go for it,
Go
man.
for it, man.
Say less. This guy was bought for 52.7 million. I'll read you some of the stats. He had scored
I know who it is.
65 goals in 7,856 minutes. No.
This is in his period
This, yeah, like in
for
his
the club.
for the team before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The first
yeah.
team. So prior, yep.
Yeah.
Guess a big money move.
Yeah.
Just a little math. That's like 120 minutes per goal, right? Signs for 52.7 million.
80 minutes, but anyway, yeah.
He netted 20 goals. So not even less than. What's that? Quick math. What's that?
I don't know. You're the
How
one
many
that's doing
goals?
maths on this.
20.
How much did he sign for?
52 million. So 20 goals.
Should I know who the player is?
You'll know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely will. Broke
20
my heart.
goals in 6,824 minutes for this team.
Oh,
Goes by the name of Fernando Torres.
mate, this is way, way, way higher on my
This
list.
is way higher on
No,
my
no.
list because it absolutely broke my heart.
The reason I've had him this low is 1, he was bought to Chelsea, and 2, he won the Champions League.
He did win trophies.
His goal was a very
Chelsea
important goal
player
for us.
is going to win trophies.
yeah.
And the thing is, if
He won
you
an FA Cup.
if
As
you
we
are
said, Danny Drinkwater won
Yeah.
a Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are one of the best strikers in the whole league, you score a goal every 4 games. That's how bad it was at Chelsea. A goal every 4 games. You're the starting 9. I wanted to straighten my hair and dye it blonde because of him at Liverpool. I
His
swear
European
to you.
stats weren't the worst, but his Premier League stats: 1 goal in 14, 6 goals in 32.
It's just
So he scored 1 goal in the first 6 months he was there, and then he never scored more than 8 goals in a Premier League season.
8 goals in 36 was the next one, and then 5 in 20.
And
was
then
the next
at
one.
the end of all that, he left for free.
Yep.
yeah, 50 mil.
The only reason he wasn't higher, he rounded Valdez.
He broke
Yeah.
the record
That
as
is an
well.
iconic
That was
goal.
a record breaking.
It was a record
signing
fee, yeah.
for Chelsea, who'd been spending money.
I
Yeah.
thought goals galore. I was like,
Yeah.
I put that Chelsea shirt on the
And he was
shopping cart.
young as well. He was like 26, 27
Yeah,
when
he
left.
should have
Like, he
been-
was
And the numbers he finished on they're not the worst of all time. 45 goals in 172 games.
but
But
that's
they're
1 in
the
4
worst
as a 9 for
for
Chelsea.
how good
How
he
good he
was.
was.
Yeah, 100%.
And then where he ended up.
And he became
it
a
was
meme as
massive
well.
fall
It's
off.
1 in 4 for
Yeah.
9 for Chelsea. A period where you're winning the Champions League. That's
No, absolutely.
awful.
Yeah, he's way, way higher on my list just because of the impact it had
Yeah.
on my life.
Yeah.
But
For Liverpool fans,
it makes me happier as well.
I feel your,
Yeah.
I feel your pain, but for me, he rounded Valdez.
And just like to provide context, for Liverpool, he played 142 games, scored 81 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
was
his
less than
overall
1 in 2.
play was so good. When he got to Chelsea, his overall play just became so average.
He scored a double against Chelsea for Liverpool.
Yeah.
The next week he moved to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
there were
won that
nice
game
goals
2-0.
as well.
I've also got Torres in my list.
I got
He's just
Torres as
higher.
well.
All right.
higher.
Shall I go number 7?
Yes.
Yes.
My number 7 is a centre back that can be described as awful,
Yep.
Great.
erratic,
Great.
black,
Okay.
terrible.
Yep.
He was signed for 42 mil. So this is a lot of
Oh,
money.
yeah.
Wow.
This is a lot of money. In one of his first games for the club, this is all in one game. Red card, own goal, came on as a sub. That was in one game. I
Oh,
swear
yeah.
to God. This is Manchester City's Mangala.
This is like the first bad defensive signing they made in a
That was
string
the
of bad
first
defensive
one, yeah.
signings.
They went on a hot streak of horrible
bad,
signings.
of bad.
Demichelis, Clichy,
Otamendi.
Danilo.
Danilo, yeah, awful signings, just
42 mil as
back
well.
to back to back to back. 42 mil for Mangala.
That's serious money. You know that's 10
serious.
That's 10 off bloody Torres. They could have got a Torres.
Yeah.
Serious, like that's big money. Defenders 42
For a
mil.
defender as well.
My
This is
God.
completely disregarding inflation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
42 mil for a defender in about 2016, 17.
They essentially bought
Yeah.
Sarko for 42 mil.
Yeah, that's what it was like. And I think Sarko probably did a better job.
100%.
Yeah.
Even at Crystal Palace.
Yeah, Sarko was better. Mangala was one of the worst centre backs.
Absolutely.
Extremely like
Yeah.
just brain dead. The challenges this guy would make, it's almost like he doesn't know where he is on the pitch.
Oh, also gave away a penalty in that game as well, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Same game.
That would have been the worst fantasy rating ever.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense as a signing. Like
No.
he didn't suit the system.
Wasn't
he
a
didn't suit.
good
None of
ball
those
player,
players really
nothing.
fit the system, but
Yeah.
I think the system's changed so often because they had so many managers in that. Not so many, but within that 10-year period, probably had 5 managers.
Yeah.
Mangala.
So-
Wow.
They were always changing philosophies.
Do any of you guys have him?
I didn't have him, but I considered
I
him.
have him, but I don't have him, but I could easily put him in.
Yeah.
I'm happy he's in there.
Yeah.
He deserves to be.
So we're up to 6?
No, we're up to
No,
7.
This is
have you done
everyone's
7?
now.
Oh, I thought I did 7.
I haven't done 7.
Oh, I did Jordan Ibe, Dio, Dyer, Soldado.
Oh, yeah,
All right,
that-
I got to
okay.
do 7.
Okay. Oh no,
Um,
so this is
Yeah,
I don't.
you
I
haven't
haven't done
done
it
your
either.
7.
All right,
Yeah.
go.
Okay, bud. This is another one of your boys.
Oh no.
Like I said, we could do a Chelsea list,
bet he's
and I
on
would
it.
happily. Maybe we'll do another episode for just Chelsea.
Chelsea and menu. We could do.
There's really not much to say. The only reason he's probably not higher is because he's still at the club.
Yeah. I think I know who it is.
The most expensive goalkeeper in history.
Yeah.
The most expensive goalkeeper in history who's now a second choice keeper. Most expensive goalkeeper in history who, after a year and a half, you went and signed another very expensive goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
It's Kepa, a man that disregards instructions from his coaches, a club legend coach, a guy that seemed like he was making
Errors after
goal-giving errors every single week for about 6 months straight.
Yeah.
He
80 million
80 mil
on Kepa
on a
Arrizabalaga.
goalkeeper.
I'm a Chelsea fan and I've put him higher.
Oh, have you?
Way higher. So I'm actually like happy that you put him there, man. 'Cause that's not a bad position.
Yeah.
Kepa. He's still at the club.
He's still at the club and he plays cup games, not
You have an
Champions League
80
games.
million keeper playing cup games.
To be honest, his most recent form has been good.
It's been okay.
It's been
Yeah.
relatively
It's
decent.
been okay, but does not justify 80
80
Yeah,
million.
but
No
you
way.
take him out of the limelight, you take him,
Yeah.
take the pressure off him. He doesn't have to prove
Pressures
himself
to
every
perform
week.
are a lot
Yeah.
less, obviously.
100%.
because,
Yeah.
You know, you're shattering.
And
possibly the
now
best keeper in the
people
world.
don't think he's good. So, you know, there's a...
Expectations.
Yeah, the
Gone
expectations
way
are low.
lower, yeah.
So if he does make a mistake, it's like...
And also,
Yeah.
they lost the City 1-0.
Mm.
De Bruyne's
Where-
goal, he could have
we-
just easily saved. Yeah, that's cool.
My 7, quickly, Andy Carroll.
Very nice.
F. Andy
Very
Carroll.
good.
My number 6 as well, I can go back to back, and it's Torres.
Did you
Oh,
do your
nice.
number 7?
I did 7 was Kepa. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Awful. My number 6, I can just say it as well, it was Tamui Bakayoko.
Oh, nice.
You guys got a new? Any of you?
I got a new 6, yeah.
You 6, sorry.
I've got a different 6 as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Should I go?
Yeah.
Should I do it?
Shall
I do it?
Shall I do it?
My number 6. Let me just give you, this is story time right now. 67 million.
My 6
Yes, sir.
My 6 was Torres, yeah, sorry.
He started off pretty well. Got player of the month. Did his hamstring straight after. Was out for a while. This is all within 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Got his house robbed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Sold a year later for 10 million less.
10 million less. Wait.
yeah.
1 year, that's it, 1 season.
You know, this guy was coming off a World 11 selection. World 11.
1 chip goal, which was beautiful.
Fabulous.
I've got something to say about this.
I've got something to say as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. 60 is it worth 67 million?
Nope. Is it worth
Reasons?
losing?
At the time, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the reasons you're gonna say they're worth 67 million.
No.
Exactly.
Is it worth him leaving 1 year later and having an excellent rest of his career?
I've got something to say about that as well.
Go for it, Tom.
Di Maria. Just so everyone
Angel
knows.
Okay.
Di Maria.
I think the fee at the time was probably about right. I think it was a player.
Very
I
expensive.
think it was a player that United needed
Yep.
at the time in a position that they needed.
Yep.
Absolutely.
He's a winner. He's extremely quality. They needed a player in that position, so he ticked all those boxes.
Yeah.
The reason why he's not in my list is because even though he goes a year after, they get 40.
They get
They get
44
nearly
less.
50
Yeah.
Yeah.
mil back for him a year later after he's had not a very good year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
though,
why I don't think it's as bad as.
think about
what-
it this way. They bring in their biggest signing. This is like their biggest signing they've made for
Yeah, it is.
how it was their
Biggest.
record. It was their record
It was
signing
at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
record signing at the time. A player who had done it all, won it all. They needed him. They bring him in. They play 5 at the back. They play him left wing back. Not for the whole.
Game on and off.
Yeah, not
Is
for the
that
whole
his
time.
fault, though?
Not his fault. This is a club signing.
We're saying,
okay.
we're
And
saying-
they're not playing their biggest player in his own position.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he is underperforming incredibly.
Did we mention World 11? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, World
So,
11,
World 11.
previous.
They just won the Champions League.
Just
That's what
won
I mean.
the
Like,
Champions
at the
League.
time,
I
it
think
was
I
a sick
completely
signing.
agree. I think it. I don't even think if it plays out. I mean, I think even if it plays out, it's not that bad. I think they just wanted to gamble in case it was bad, and in case he because he hated life in Manchester.
Yeah,
and
his
so
wife
he
came
didn't
out and
like
said
living
it's the
there. They
worst
got
place.
robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like his overall happiness wasn't good. But I just think if we're looking at it from a football perspective, I don't think his career and how he would have played at United would warrant being in the top 10.
Nah, but I
in a
think he-
year-
As a deal?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
as a
think if
deal.
you are the
I get
record signing of the team, you cannot leave the next season.
for 20 million.
You can't leave for less.
10 about
Essentially,
10 mil.
they've lost.
You can't
15,
leave for
20 mil.
less.
In a year, they've lost 15, 20
Plus
mil.
wages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a deal, it's bad, but I
Definitely.
think the reasoning behind the signing.
I have Angel Di Maria as well on
The
my list.
player also went on to play 180 games for PSG since 2015, scoring 54 goals as a winger.
Very good.
10.
It's pretty good.
And winning an impressive 17 trophies while at PSG.
And he was arguably top 3 Madrid players for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And then PSG as well.
Yeah.
United got swindled in that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was good
they did.
everywhere in his career apart from at United.
Where he
And
was played out of
essentially-
position.
Yeah, PSG got the best deal.
100%.
Signed him
Yeah.
for
1 year
less than his
later.
market value.
Yeah.
And he went on to be probably better than
Yeah.
they expected.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great shout.
But yes, as a deal, bud,
Mm.
I agree.
Does anyone? We've all said our sixes.
No, Tom
no.
has a 6 that we haven't
Um,
we haven't said. Yeah, you can. Start.
Okay.
Tom.
Interesting.
Is it a big story or what?
It's one everyone knows.
Okay.
Okay, so stats before he goes to his new club.
Yep.
So he's 29 when he signs for his new club. He scores 173 goals in his previous game. At his previous club. And he scored over 25 goals in 6 out of the 8 seasons that he was there.
Okay.
So he's signed for 40 million
Yep.
in a time where 40 million is a British transfer record fee. Andrei Shevchenko.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
And when he comes, he scores 9 goals in 48 games
Jesus Christ.
and goes back to Milan on loan.
And of course, the numbers in isolation, there are worse. Like, as we've said, there's players that have been worse, but the level expected from Shevchenko after just winning
Ballon d'Or winner as well.
Ballon d'Or 2
Jesus.
seasons before.
Yeah. And it's not only like his numbers are bad. Sure, you can have numbers that are that bad and still
You
perform.
can still contribute.
He was awful when he played.
Similar to Torres.
He
they
looked
like different
5 years
players.
older
Yeah.
when he was,
I completely agree.
and it says a lot about the physicality of the English league, not necessarily better, but the physicality of these players that have played in Europe their whole career. They come to the Premier League when they're, late 20s, early 30s, and they just fall behind.
Crumble.
If you're talking about strikers that posed absolutely no threat,
Yeah.
he was,
And they signed him to replace Drogba, and Drogba stayed.
and outperformed
And outperformed
continuously.
him.
And
Yeah.
so did Anelka, who they signed like the year after.
And like, it's bad because I think for 3 or 4 years, Abramovich was like going hard to try and
Deep
sign
in
this
his
guy.
pocket.
Wanted him, was like, I'll give
Yeah.
you anything.
Yeah.
Please come.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Pause.
Yeah. 100.
Do you want me to just go because my number 5 has been said?
Yeah, same.
And it
Same
was.
here.
Oh, everyone's? Mine was Di Maria, so.
Mine was Torres
Mine's Jolinton.
Mine's
at 5.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think 7 goals in 91 games is so,
fucking bad.
That's
And he
It's
like
so
had massive potential. I don't know if they've scouted him properly, but nobody can predict 7 goals
yeah.
and not look like scoring ever.
Yeah.
Did you see that finish the other day? It wasn't even a finish, but the cutback where he shot into his own head.
Yes.
That's impossible. Like if you wanted to try that shit, you couldn't do it.
Facts. But yeah, I Jolinton.
Then I'll just go my no.
Sanchez, 500k. That speaks
Yeah.
speaks a lot.
My number 4's been said. It is that freaking long-haired freak Andy Carroll.
Mine's Carroll as well at
Yeah.
4.
Really?
Yeah.
36.9 million freaking pounds, man.
That one hurt.
I hate
You
that
got a
guy.
different 4?
Yeah, do you?
Yeah. Should I go and then you, or do you want to go?
No, go for it.
Alright. My number 4 is a funny one.
I think this is my number 3. So
This guy single-handedly.
this is my number 3.
This is my two.
This is my number 3.
Took a team that was in the Premier League.
This is my 1. This is 1.
That took the team
We need a
that was in a Prem to what? What was it?
They're
League 2.
League 2.
No, maybe League 1.
I think they're in League 1 now.
Yeah, they're League 1.
If someone says, "Nah, it was other things," shut up. It was just this guy.
It was him.
Jack Rodwell
Yeah, that's my
to Sunderland.
Yeah.
Who was on 70k a week at Sunderland.
In the championship.
So-
70k.
If you've watched Sunderland Till I Die, you'll understand how fucked
The
this
magnitude.
contract alone was for the city or town of Sunderland.
Yeah.
Like, he put people out of jobs. Like, he single-handedly
dickhead,
put them out of... The club, also to blame.
They didn't have a clause in his contract to say
He was the only
you
player.
take a wage reduction if you get relegated.
And so you've got relegated, which wasn't his fault.
No.
Getting relegated isn't his fault. But he's the only player who kept his original contract when getting relegated.
Everyone else, 50%.
Everyone else received a 50% reduction in contract, which meant contracts were going down from 50 to 25k.
Which
And not
makes-
even that much.
which
Because
makes
most of the
sense.
players at Sunderland weren't on 50k.
Yeah.
Some
They
of
were
them are
going
like
down
10
from
to
like
5.
20 to 10 to 5.
And this dude is walking around
70.
on 70.
Injured.
And then also to make things worse,
Now in
the
the
club
A-League.
have a player who's better than the players they have in the club, and they are refusing to play him until he moves his contract so they can sign. They could not sign anyone. They could not pay players to come to the club and help them
They
get
couldn't
back to the
entice
Premier
anyone
League.
because they had no money.
And also, any other player that would come to Sunderland that is higher level would say, well, you have him on 70,000. Why
Yeah.
don't you give me more?
Yeah.
And so they didn't play him for 2 years. He didn't play. He just trained. He just kicked.
And he was injured as well.
He just kicked the ball
They
around.
didn't let him play because he didn't negotiate the contract down. And in doing that, shot themselves essentially in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because their
He
best
probably
player
was their
wasn't
best
playing,
player, yeah.
And also they were leaking money because he wasn't playing. And nobody wanted to take his contract, so he couldn't go on loan. Nobody. Why would he terminate his contract? He's
No
getting
way, I'm
70k
getting
to do
70k a week. You
nothing.
think I give a shit about the
only
old people
thing-
in Sunderland?
Exactly.
No
The
way.
only thing you could speak to really would be like his desire to be a better player.
Yeah.
I promise
Which
to you-
obviously had none.
I promise to you. Well, he's playing the A-League right now, so that shows. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's not even
don't-
30
Good lad.
Yeah, good
Jack.
boy.
We like you here.
Oh, like obviously,
It essentially cemented Sunderland in League One for a few years until they
Yeah.
get back up, which I
they are not coming back.
So he was in the Premier League. He got relegated to the Championship. Guess how many minutes, not games, minutes he played in that Championship season?
21.
105 minutes.
in the whole season,
And
they play a
played
lot of
44
games. Yeah,
They played 44
and the thing
games.
is, their
This
squads,
dude played, nearly got £1,000 a week per minute that he played.
You know what's crazy? The squad is not a big squad.
No.
And especially to play 44 games, they have a guy who they just refuse to play.
105 minutes.
He could've-
for 70,000.
He
single-handedly.
single-handedly got them relegated the next year.
It's poor management as well.
terrible by the club.
It's awful from the
all
club.
the club's fault because he going to
Yeah.
do
100%.
all the club's
And
fault
at the same time, you shouldn't expect him
to change
to
contract.
change his contract.
No. That's
No
why
way.
contracts are in place.
Why don't
Yeah.
you just play him and then try and get back up?
100%.
Yeah.
But that is one of the probably the funniest, not for the Sunderland
Not for
people,
Sunderland.
No way.
but the funniest transfer. You've taken a club with rich history down to League One.
And
That's why it was my one.
Yeah.
Because that situation is fucked.
So
it's my
funny,
two.
though.
he would have
Yeah,
been
it's my
in
number
the
3.
championship, probably one of the highest paid players as well
Yeah,
there.
probably.
If not probably the highest. 70,000 that around that time. Who would get more than him?
And he was at City
Yeah.
2 years before, and now he's in the Championship, where he was at City, the best team in the country at that point. I think they had just won the league.
Yeah. Absolutely. My 4 is Van Persie. I know we're doing transfers, but we didn't specify whether it was going or coming.
Big pause.
So I've done Van Persie's move to Man U, 2012. I think from all
Arsenal's perspective.
perspectives
Yeah.
surrounding Arsenal, it's possibly the worst move they've ever done. Because I know we weren't direct title contenders, but in 2012, Arsenal were in and around the top 4, top 3 every season. And for a player who's just won Player of the Year, Golden Boot, top scorer, to leave to your
Big right.
one of your big rivals for as little as 22 mil. That's the best striker and possibly best player in the league at the time. Leaving for 22 mil to your direct
Competition.
rivals
That's your competition for the league.
is, I think, absolutely awful. And there was sort of a period where Arsenal went through maybe 5-6 years where they would sell their best player,
But-
basically to repay debt.
The thing is, the nail in the coffin is he won them the league. He won United the league.
He scored over 20 goals.
Player of the year,
Player of the
Golden
year
Boot.
and Golden Boot.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
this.
like I said, Arsenal. There was a period where Arsenal had to sell their best players every single year to basically repay debt. that I think that management and that board is atrocious for doing that because he
So funny.
Nearly every Arsenal player that left won something after they
I
all of
think
them
all of them did.
Fabregas.
Fabregas, there was a
Nasri,
period.
Song,
Nasri, Sanya,
Song.
Clichy,
Yeah.
Song, Van Persie, all
Jesus
within
Christ.
about 4 years. Adebayor.
It's so funny.
And Arsenal still managed to finish top 4, which they were doing anyway, but
You were never going to go further.
I read a thing. Yeah, they have to go further. But yeah, that's my 4 because of how hard that is for me to talk about.
Crazy.
What a signing for United.
Yeah, that's if we're doing best
So
signings,
good,
that's
yeah.
literally top. That's one
Yeah,
of the best
it has
signings
to be.
ever.
Yeah. Anyone else got a 4 that's not said?
I had Andy Carroll at 4.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So we go number 3.
I had Jackie Rodwell.
I
number
had-
3.
Well, 1. Tom,
Danny Drinkwater.
drink water.
Yeah.
3. But you got someone new?
Kepa Balenciaga.
Yep.
My 3.
Something
could've-
new.
I could've-
Something new here.
Easily put 3-4 and 4-3 or anything, but in 2000 and what year it was?
Are we going back?
It's back, not heaps. 2014
Okay.
January.
Yep.
I'll paint a little picture. Arsenal
Please
after
do.
21 games played, 2014 were first, right?
Yes.
City second, and we're competing, heavily competing. Like, this is peak Premier League. The top 4 teams were battling it out. We get injuries to Diaby, I think Cazorla. It was to our midfield, maybe possibly Ramsey.
I think I know.
On deadline day, we signed Kim Kallstrom on loan.
the man with the broken back.
And in his medical, it's clear and evident to everyone that he has a broken vertebrae in his back, like he is out. And like they needed coverage right then and there. Obviously, Arsenal still at this time don't have money. So they bring in a player who features 4 times.
With a broken back.
Who they knew. It's not even like they were swindled. They knew he was injured and they thought maybe he'll recover. He played 4 games.
Oh.
Arsenal dropped from 1st to 4th. And we finish 7 points behind 1st. Right? 7 points behind 1st, 2 points behind 3rd, 3 points behind 2nd. In a season where we could have easily, with coverage, competed for the title. He plays 4 games and goes... His contract ends at the other club and goes to a different team.
With a broken back.
and then revived his career.
Completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
That's so
that
funny.
is
I did
so
not even
funny.
remember that.
That's my 3.
Is awful.
That's the worst. For me, that's just...
And that's a-
blatant. No MPL team would do that.
No.
No semi-professional club would sign someone with a broken back. and
my back.
like when you need you need quick replacements
And you're challenging for a title.
for a title.
You're
Premier
coming
League
first.
title.
You're coming
You're
first.
first. Outright first, Arsenal were after 21
Jeez.
games.
Jeez.
Oh my God, that is so funny. And for him to be on this list and he's a loan signing tells you everything you need to know.
6-month loan.
6-month loan deal and he's number 3.
One of the biggest meme signings of all time. I think.
That's so
and Arsenal have a
completely-
lot of weird loans, but that's yeah.
I reckon it must have been a double agent for City. 'Cause that's
That's so
that's
funny.
crazy.
2. Let's get up to number 2.
My number
Silver
2.
medal.
This one, it's
Been said or no?
Yeah, it's been said. It just hurt me the most of any signing. It's the first heartbreak that I've ever had, and it was Fernando Torres.
Yeah.
That's number 2.
Tom, you got a new
But
2?
it makes
Yeah, I
me
got a
really
new
happy.
2.
Better not be my 1.
I think it's your 1. And I think it's most people's 1. And I don't give a fuck about recency bias. Harry Maguire, fuck you, motherfucker.
Let's go!
That's my one.
You've absolutely United. I'm putting his chip down.
Yeah, hold on, Tom, go.
Oh, yeah. Tom, go before.
There's nothing you can say. An 80 million defender, you bring him in to change your fortunes. He doesn't do anything at all. He's progressively getting worse. He's progressively getting worse. You make him your captain. He's progressively getting worse. You play him no matter what. He's progressively getting worse. He's the stable centre back in the centre back
Pair him
partnership.
with a world class centre back.
Yeah,
It always
He progressively gets worse.
He's progressively getting worse. You buy Varane and you rotate Varane out. You're not winning games. you rotate Varane out. You're dropping
Champions League
points
Varane.
against bottom half teams. You're doing shit in the Champions League. You're not doing anything in the cups.
He gets arrested in Greece.
You
Gets
can't
arrested
play
in
out from the
Greece.
back.
Get spun.
You rotate out Lindelof and Varane.
Athletically, you're getting worse. Technically, you're getting worse.
Worse.
Tactically, you're getting worse. And
know
he's
what-
your captain.
You know what really says it all? Jack Rodwell single-handedly relegated his club. Kim Kallstrom did not feature in more than 5 games and signed with a broken back, and you are still my number one, Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire is my number one worst signing of Premier League history. Premier League history. And don't say, well, young, whatever, it's recent. This guy, it is so clear and evident to every single person but the people working at United that he is not top 4 level. He is not top 10 level. He is a relegation centre back. And I don't even know if he's that level. Harry Maguire is one of the worst centre backs I've ever seen play.
Yeah.
Your best attributes are aerial ability, and you have the worst positioning. So if you have the worst positioning and your aerial ability is your best thing, then you cannot play football. You genuinely can't play football. You run slower than anyone I've ever seen. He runs slower than when they signed Schweinsteiger. He's slower than that Schweinsteiger. He cannot turn. He is so bad defending players who are back to goal. And that should be what he's good at. So now imagine when they have fast players who want to run him behind. Harry Maguire and his positioning in the box for crosses. Oh my God, I've never seen that.
a presence in the air.
I've never
He's got
seen
the
that.
worst positioning in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
I promise you, the first season he wasn't even as bad as he is right now. He
wasn't that bad the
He
first
is.
season.
The worst part is he's getting worse, and he's only getting more responsibility.
Yeah.
You are the captain, and you are just crumbling every single week. And to make things worse, you score on international duty, and you do this.
Block the noise.
You block the haters
Block
for
out the
what?
haters.
You are one
right.
of the worst players, let alone centre backs I've ever in my whole life, and 80 mil.
Yeah.
Forget the money. Like it's still just as bad. Like
If it was 3 mil, you're still pretty bad. You're not a good
that's
player.
a bad signing.
80 mil, add 80 mil onto that.
World record, like the most
Yeah.
expensive
oh
defender. and
my
you've got
God, you're
Varane
more
next to
expensive
you.
than Van Dijk.
5 Champions League Varane is benched because of you.
I feel as though, as well as Maguire being shit, though, the majority of culpability should be given to Man U.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, Maguire is awful, but a club signing Maguire for 80 mil is more awful.
Yeah,
Like-
definitely.
Like, they should be more at fault for signing a player for that much money that they thought was this completely different player. Like, you've signed him to essentially
And also, you didn't need to sign him for 80 million.
At all.
ever.
And that's United on
And you
a
didn't need
streak
to
of
sign
bad
him.
signings.
He wasn't even on their radar. It was who was it? It was Keane
Yeah.
from Everton, and it was someone else. It was Trakowski from Burnley. They were the two that were on the radar
Trakowski.
for United. And somewhere out of nowhere, this 6'10",
But
Truck
I just
head.
think, like, I don't even know how they've identified this player. Who signed him?
Who's
Was it
not
Mourinho
young.
or
It's not
it
like
was
he's-
Ollie?
I think it was just the club.
I think it might have been just before Ollie. He's been there a fair while now, maybe like 4 years.
I'm pretty
It
sure
wasn't Ollie.
I'm
It
pretty
wasn't
sure it was
Ollie.
Mourinho.
But it was.
Or
was,
maybe-
It was Ollie.
It was
Harry
on.
Maguire on 2019, 5th of August, became the most expensive defender of all time.
Why does it feel like it's been 5 years since
And
he's
United's second highest ever transfer fee. What I was going to say is they've signed him, but haven't watched him play, which really speaks more to Ollie being fucked in the head and the board being fucked.
Yeah.
Because you've signed a defender who primarily defends in the box.
in the box?
Yeah.
And he never is in the box until it's too late.
Yeah.
Like, and when he is in the box, he's calamitous. But think if he was just sitting in a block,
That's what
like
I'm saying.
Burnley,
Think about
Yeah.
you could be like, he's all right.
Think about the
Just
team he
clearing the
came
ball.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about the team he came from. He came from Leicester, who played only counter-attack football. They sat back deep, played the ball long. All he did was deal with crosses and block shots.
it.
In
Yeah.
Now he's playing on the halfway line. He plays for Man U on the halfway line. You have someone who can probably turn and run slower than an 8-year-old kid, I reckon. 8-year-old kid gives Harry Maguire a good run for his
100%.
money. And they've got him.
Broha spin him with ease,
my
with no
God.
real
It wasn't a move.
no real trick. It was like not even.
It was a
something-
little bit
He's
of movement.
running to get back like this.
It was a body feint, if you can call it that, and he was lost.
He literally, I saw him take 18 steps to turn around.
Positionally,
it doesn't make
he's
sense.
one of the worst centre backs of all time. Do you remember when Arsenal played United at Old Trafford and Aubameyang is put through and the whole defense is in one line and he's here stepping up
He steps up
to try play him offside when he's the only person who could keep him offside, and they score. And no, I swear the responsibility that he has and how much shit he gets for it doesn't equal.
No, it doesn't.
From pundits, from journalists, anyone.
Because the first times he plays decent, they're like, yeah, we're right about Harry Maguire. We're right. They're right about him. Let him go. But this guy has consistently, and especially this season, put in maybe 15 of the worst ever performances.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever.
If that was Eric Bailly,
Yeah, that would be the end.
It's gone. He's done.
World football would be
Yeah.
over.
that was Lindelof.
Imagine
it's
if-
not even a race thing. If it was Lindelof, it's just purely
Imagine
British.
if when we signed Van Dijk, these were the performances that happened. You would never, ever, ever hear the end of it.
Yeah.
That would have been the worst
because
signing
he's
ever.
English.
Yeah, facts.
Because he's
But
English.
This guy, Harry Maguire.
And I swear he's making Luke Shaw worse as well.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he makes
Like, I'm not
everyone
joking.
around him worse.
I think that he is confusing Luke Shaw and making him so much worse than he is.
He's run into him about 15 times.
The funny thing is, he tries to carry the ball to try
Yeah.
and play
And
out,
then
it's-
he gets nervous when he
And
gets
he
sees a
turns
player
back
and then
and
like
just-
passes the ball out.
And
It
yeah,
is the
that's the thing.
worst.
Varane, as like you would know, obviously as a centre back, you get confidence if you know you're playing with someone solid. Like if you already are second guessing your centre back partner, you're gonna be your game will be worse.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Think about
You'll
errors.
be
And even as like a deep lying midfield player that I play, if you understand that your centre backs are a little bit vulnerable, your position just naturally drops
Exactly.
in front of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the United starting position as a whole team
He's just
drops back automatically when you don't have
because of their captain.
because of the captain.
He's the
So
captain.
they're losing so much ground,
Oh my
much
God.
more ground positionally on the field than they have done previously.
Yeah.
And you think
And-
about Varane after Ramos. So Ramos was injured for like huge parts of last season, and Varane had to be the centre back. He already looked worse. Like Varane,
Very
already
shaky.
looked
He was
worse.
very
in
shaky.
the Champions League fixtures where they got knocked out by City.
Chelsea-
He looked awful.
Chelsea, sorry.
Chelsea,
and then
yeah.
in the group stage against City,
He gave
They
away the
looked
Yeah.
so in the group
pen
stage against City,
and the own goal,
where
yeah.
Gabriel Jesus scored.
Yeah.
That he looked worse. Not saying he was bad or terrible, but he looked worse.
Yeah.
Now he's playing next to possibly the worst centre back of all, not of all time, but worst.
You could honestly say that.
And the thing is, we're not.
A relegation level centre back.
Yeah,
and,
easily.
And Varane is gonna automatically look a lot worse than he was.
But why are they not just taking him out of the lineup? That's what doesn't make
can't.
sense to me.
I think it's the money.
No, you
can't.
just have to.
the
I think
money.
it gets to a
I
point
agree
where
you have
because you're
to.
playing for this is money. This
won't
is
come
so much that's happening. Why are they refusing to take him out
If they
and just
haven't
try
done
and
it, they
win
won't
with
do it.
him?
Yeah, absolutely.
If
Similar
that-
to Xhaka, similar to Aubameyang. Those are my two examples because they directly affected how Arsenal played. They won't come out as long as they have the armband. Similar to at times where Chelsea could have been better than they were, but because Azpilicueta was the captain, he has to play. Like
Yeah.
Henderson
Yeah.
is another example. They won't change it because they'll either lose the fans or they'll lose
But
squad
he is-
But
belief
I
or
also
some
think
shit.
that United, like, in some weird way, they don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Absolutely.
I think they don't want to admit that this guy is not
That maybe they got it
80
wrong.
mil.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to ever take accountability for his performances, ever. Not
Yeah.
once have
No,
I
he
ever
never
seen.
does.
we need to finish our chances.
Yeah, we need to finish our chance. Yeah, the team didn't defend very well today. What do you mean?
Like, bro, you got spun 6 times.
Yeah,
in a
we
row.
were. The team just weren't that great on the ball. You won. You passed it out 16 times. We all said Wan-Bissaka's so bad on the ball, which is awful. But Harry Maguire is the same level of bad.
Yeah.
I've never seen a left back
But plays with
inside
more
his centre
confidence.
back
Yeah.
so often.
Ever.
Harry Maguire exudes confidence
For no reason.
without the ability.
Yeah.
Like he's
Like, on the
so
ball.
fucking
He has the
confident.
confidence of
Yeah.
Gerard Piqué on the ball.
Like to drive out and step
Yeah.
into lines only to get there and realize, fuck.
I don't know what to do
I'm
now.
not that
what
guy.
am I
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, like, and he'll turn and just spray balls out. He'll spray balls into like wrong sides of midfielders all like almost every game.
Yeah.
He is absolutely abysmal.
But
the worst
quickly,
playing
so
him.
Who's your one?
My
That's
one.
my 2.
That's Tom's 2. That's my
Mine
one.
2 was Torres, so.
That's
My number 2 is a little package deal that happened. That took place at a little team in Everton. A team that wears red. A team that got $145 million in transfer money. Liverpool selling Suarez. That's just the part 1 to it. Part 2 is who they've bought and what's happened to this team. All right. So
in Everton.
yeah.
Liverpool.
In Liverpool.
In Liverpool. Yeah.
In Everton.
So Suarez money is 145 million. They've got 145 million in the bank.
145 million what?
No,
Euros.
70 mil. No,
100
sorry, 4.
Yeah. But we're AUD.
All right,
Yeah, we're AUD. AUD.
What?
Rupees.
Let me just give you a list of players Liverpool bought. Balotelli
Yeah.
for 16. Markovic for 20. So this guy is already, he's more than Balotelli. Never watched him before, never knew who he was before they signed him. Emre Can for 10. Not a bad one.
Fine.
But
That was
look,
a fine
yep.
signing.
That's right. Lovren for 20. Definitely not.
Won a Champions League.
Adam Lallana for 25. Who plays for Brighton.
It was fine.
The first couple of years,
No,
Lallana was decent.
Lallana was fine. He
You
was an
can't-
England international.
No. You guys cannot justify these. Moreno for 12.
Also fine. 12 is nothing.
Fine.
Divock Origi for 10.
Still plays.
Fine.
Ricky Lambert
Cult hero.
He's not
for
good.
4 million.
4 million is fine.
Overall, this whole deal is a howler. Because
It is extremely.
It's awful.
how can out of
It's similar
all
to
those,
It is.
only
Very
one
similar.
player
It is.
be at the club still?
Yeah.
So you've had 145
It
million.
was only
Fair.
5
You
years
spent,
ago.
you spent nearly all of it and then decided to rebuild again with more money. And this time in hope that it doesn't fuck up like last time,
Yeah.
which you're lucky it hasn't yet.
It didn't. Yeah.
Because
It won't.
We did amazing.
to show for it, you've only won 1 Premier League and 1 Champions League
big trophies.
It's pretty good.
in about 12 years of rebuilding.
Rebuilding from
No.
what they rebuilt from. Klopp had to rebuild.
You had to
Klopp
rebuild
had to rebuild
twice
after Suarez.
Yeah, Klopp
because
had to
your
rebuild
first
after
rebuild was
Suarez.
whack.
And then had to rebuild after that little
He rebuilt
Sterling
with
rebuild.
a lot better players than this rebuild, though. All right.
And Club World
Number
Cup.
ones
We'll
quickly. We know I had
Wait, so your number 2 is that whole rebuild for Liverpool?
Yeah.
And the money.
number
pretty-
1 for me
that's
is
fair.
Maguire.
Also, you can't have it AUD.
Yeah. You can't say that in AUD.
It sounds better.
Number 1, Maguire.
Harry Maguire as well.
Maguire.
Jack
Maguire
Rodwell.
and Jack Rodwell. Fair enough.
That's
Jack
fine.
Rodwell, you are
He took a
something else.
Premier League team into nothingness.
And if you guys
An
been
established Premier League
listening
team.
to me eating chips, here's the last one for you.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram.
Follow us on Twitter. Do we have a Twitter?
Yeah, we do.
Follow
And
us on Twitter.
yeah,
I only saw a one-way ticket to Nigeria.
to Nigeria. Mike's going to Afro Nation 4 months early.
Yeah, and in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. The Nigeria one.
He's going to a fake one. All right, let's
Got the one Diaz coasting.